Hello everybody, this is Mr. McNair, and this is going to be a short video on polynomials. Alright, let's talk about a certain type of polynomial. Monomial. A monomial is a number, a variable, or a product of numbers and variables with whole number exponents. Now, the word monomial is made up of two Latin bases. The one I want to concentrate on is mono, and we know that mono means one. So another way that you can think of a monomial is that it is something with one term. Some examples of monomials would be 5, that's a monomial. X is a monomial. Negative 7xy is a monomial. And 0.5x to the fourth. Now, these are all monomials because they are all one term. 5 is one term. X is one term. Negative 7xy is one term. Now, real quick, when you're talking about negative 7xy, remember, terms are separated through addition signs. So because these are all connected through multiplication, that's one term. And also, 0.5x to the fourth is one term. All right, some things that are not monomials. Negative 0.3x to the negative 2. Remember, up at the top here it says that monomial can be the product of numbers and variables with whole number exponents. And for something to be a whole number, it can't be negative. Okay, whole numbers they start at 0. All right, 4x minus y. That's not a monomial because that is two terms. And then down here, 2 over x to the third. Up here in the definition of monomial, it says it's a number, a variable, or the product of numbers and variables. All right, it's a product. It's not going to be a division. Product is associated with the operation multiplication. Okay, so it can be multiplied, not divided. All right, next. The degree of a monomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables. Okay, it's the sum of the exponents on the variables. And a constant has a degree of 0. We know that a constant is just a number. For example, let's look at these monomials that we have on this page here. All right, 5, for example, this has a degree of 0 because it's just a constant. X has a degree of 1. Negative 7xy, that has a degree of 2 because once again it's the sum of the variables on sum of the exponents of the variables. So x has an exponent of 1, y has an exponent of 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. All right, and then 0.5x to the fourth, that has a degree of 4. Let's try some more of those. All right, example 1 here says find the degree of each monomial. So a, 4p to the fourth, q to the third. The p has an exponent of 4, q has an exponent of 3. Those add up to 7, so the degree is 7 for that. Once again, all you're doing is adding the exponents. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay? B, the exponents on both of those are 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay? So 1 for the E, 1 for the exponent on the E, 1 for the exponent of D. Add those together. 1 plus 1 equals 2. All right, and C. C is just a constant. So there are no variables. So the exponent on the variables is 0. So the degree is also 0. All right, great. Remember, the terms of an expression are the parts being added within the expression. That's very important. They need to be added within the expression. For example, here we have the expression 3x plus 4. All right. Now part A says how many terms does the expression have? Well, here we have 1, 2. There's 2 terms. Now the terms once again are separated through addition signs, so the terms are 3x and 4. Those are the 2 terms. This next one, 5x squared minus 4x minus 3. This we see has 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. So this is a 3-termed polynomial. And once again, the terms are separated through addition signs. So the terms are 5x to the second, then negative 4x, and then negative 3. Remember, the polynomial, the terms are separated through addition signs. If I took this polynomial and rewrote it with just addition signs, it would be 5x squared plus negative 4x plus negative 3. And then those would be your three terms, 5x squared, negative 4x, negative 3. Okay? Now, a polynomial is a monomial or a sum or difference of monomials. All right, we're going to take more than one monomial and put it together. That's a polynomial. The degree of a polynomial is the degree of the term with the greatest degree. So, for example, this one says find the degree of each polynomial. So here's our polynomial here. This whole thing is a polynomial. Okay, it's a polynomial with two terms. Now, to find the degree, you're going to look at each of the terms separately. We have this term and this term. The degree of the first term is 7. The degree of the second term is 3. Which one is the highest? 7. So the degree of this whole thing is 7. It's the highest degree in the whole polynomial. All right, let's look at part B here. Once again, we're looking at this polynomial. We separate it and we see that it's 3 terms. All right. The degree of the first term is 3. The degree of the second term is 4. And the degree of the last term, because it's a constant, is 0. So what's the highest degree? 4. So the degree of the whole thing is 4. Great. Let's try some more just to make sure. So here, again, we have, well, this time we actually have 4 terms. All right. The degree of the first term is 5 because we're adding those exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. The degree of the second term is 5. The degree of the third term is 4. And the degree of the last term is 0. Once again, the degree is the highest among the terms, and so the degree is 5 for the whole polynomial. All right, last one here. We have the first term has a degree of 1. The second term has a degree of 0. So the whole thing has a degree of 1. Great. All right, standard form of a polynomial. That's when a polynomial terms are ordered from the highest degree to lowest degree. And also something you should know is that when the polynomial is written in standard form, the coefficient of the first term is called the leading coefficient. Remember, for example, if you have something like 3x to the 7th, the coefficient would be the 3. The coefficient is the number that's attached to the variable. Okay, that's called the coefficient. So here, in example 4, it says write the polynomial in standard form. That's the first thing. And then give the leading coefficient. So standard form, once again, goes from highest exponent to lowest exponent. So what's the term with the highest exponent? Well, this is the term with the highest exponent. So that goes first. All right, so negative 7x to the 5th is first. And then what's the next highest exponent? 2. So that goes next. So that's a positive 4x squared. And then the next one we have is 6x. So we're going to bring down that positive 6x. And the last thing we have is a 9. So we bring down the positive 9. And there you go. That's standard form. It went from highest exponent down to lowest exponent. Okay? Now the next part of this same one says find the leading coefficient. I'm going to call that LC. The leading coefficient is the coefficient that is out front when it's written in standard form. So that leading coefficient would be negative 7. Okay? All right, part B. Let's try this one. So here, highest exponent is 6. So that's going to be the one that goes first. Y to the 6. Then we have the y to the second. And then we have our minus 3y. All right, so there it is, standard form. Now the leading coefficient, again, is the coefficient on the variable that's out front. Well, if you notice, there doesn't really look like there's a number in front of the y to the 6. So since there is no number in front of it, what number is there? A 1. So the leading coefficient is 1. Great. Now, let's move this down so you can see there. Some polynomials have special names based on their degree and the number of terms they have. So if you have a degree of 0, like we talked about before, a degree of 0 is called a constant. A degree of 1 is called the linear. Degree of 2 is quadratic. Degree of 3 is called a cubic. Degree of 4 is a quartic. Degree of 5 is quintic. And then if it's 6 or more, we just call them by the number of terms they have. Sixth degree is 6, seventh degree is 7th, so on and so forth. Now, number of terms. If you have one term, it is called a monomial, like we talked about before. 2 terms is called a binomial. 3 terms is a trinomial. And if you have 4 terms or more, it's called a polynomial. All right, just to make sure, I'm going to add in a slide here. If you have, sometimes when I think of polynomials, I think of it as a hierarchy. And under polynomials, you have, some of them are monomials, some of them are binomials, and then some of them are trinomials. Okay? They are all types of polynomials. These are all polynomials. However, specifically, a monomial has 1 term, binomials have 2 terms, trinomials have 3 terms, but they're all types of polynomials. All right. Here, example 5, classify each polynomial according to its degree and number of terms. So in example A, the degree, the highest exponent is 3, so that would be a cubic. And it has 2 terms, so that would be a binomial. All right, in part B, the highest exponent, the highest degree is 6, so it's a degree of 6, so that's a 6th degree polynomial. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, so that's just going to be a polynomial. There's no specific name for polynomials with 4 terms. Part C, the highest exponent on the variable is 1, so that would be a linear. And it is 1 term, so that's a linear monomial. All right, great. There's our lesson on polynomials. I hope this has been helpful, and have a wonderful day.